Shit. This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Yo, what up, dope people? I'd like to welcome you back to the Keep It a C Note podcast. As always, I am your boy Brown. This is the Week 9 NFL recap. If this your first time tuning in, shout out to you. Please hit the sub button, hit the like button. And if you're a regular and you haven't hit the notification bell, go ahead and do so. My newcomers, make sure you hit the bell too so you can get notified when we drop new content. For some of us, Week 9 was a great week. For others, it was a bad week. But we'll get into that. Let's start it off with the Chargers. They was in Atlanta. Shout out to Atlanta. They came in first place in the NFC South. And I don't know if they're going to hold on to that title. The Chargers came away with the 20-17 victory, late field goal. The end of that game was kind of goofy, but Herbert and the boys pulled it out. Herbert threw for 245, a touchdown and an interception. Austin Eckler, 47 yards on the ground and a touchdown. He also caught 7 catches, 24 yards and a touchdown. Joshua Palmer, 8 catches, 106 yards. Shout out to the Chargers. They're the team holding LA down right now. They're now 5-3. As for Atlanta, Mariota threw for 129. Tyler Algier, 99 yards on the ground. Cordell Patterson, he's been hurt for the last couple weeks. He came back. He gave him 44 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. 1 touchdown in the red zone. He was running people over and everything. So shout out Cordell Patterson. Kyle Pitts, he had 2 catches for 27 yards. Yikes. Atlanta is 4-5 people. Now, let's talk Miami. Miami, they was in Chicago. This was the shootout of the day, probably the best game of the day. If I keep it a C note myself, at least the most exciting game. Miami looking to go on a 3-game winning streak, and they got the job done, 35-32. Tua, he threw for 3 touchdowns, 302 yards. Jeff Wilson, fresh from San Fran, 51 yards on the ground. Tyreek Hill, 7 catches, 143 yards, and a touchdown. Shout out Tyreek Hill, first wide receiver of the season to break a stack pack. He's at 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards, so shout out Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle, he also got busy, 5 catches, 85 yards, a touchdown. Miami is 6-3. They are now on a 3-game winning streak. Shout out to them. Shout out Justin Fields, too. He definitely got busy. 123 yards through the air. He threw 3 touchdowns. He ran for 178 yards and a touchdown. So he definitely got busy. Shout out Justin Fields. Darnell Mooney, 7 catches, 43 yards, a touchdown. Chicago's now 3-6, but they're showing promise, so shout out to them. Next up, we had Cincy. They was hosting Carolina, and by halftime, they was beating the brakes off of these guys. The final score ended up being 42-21, but it wasn't really that close. Joe Burrow, 206 yards and a touchdown. But this day was all about Joe Mixon, 153 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. Plus, he caught 4 out the backfield for 58 yards and a touchdown. Yikes. Shout out Joe Mixon. He definitely got busy. T. Higgins, he had 7 catches for 60 yards. Cincinnati is now 5-4. So shout out to them. As for Carolina, P.J. Walker started the game. He threw for 9 yards, 2 interceptions. He eventually was benched. Baker Mayfield came and threw for 155, 2 touchdowns. They did nothing on the ground. Dante Foreman had 23 yards. And we had a Terrence Marshall Jr. sighting, people. Who? 3 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Carolina is now at 2-7. Yikes. Next up, we had Green Bay. They was in Detroit. Aaron Rodgers trying to get back on track, and he just couldn't. Detroit came away with the 15-9 victory. Goff, he threw for 137, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Jamal Williams, 81 yards on the ground. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4 catches, 55 yards. Detroit is 2-6. Green Bay has now dropped, I believe they said 3 in a row. No, 5 in a row. I'm at a loss of words for Green Bay. They stink. I'm keeping it a C note. Aaron Rodgers, he threw for 291, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Yikes. Yikes. He also ran for 40 yards, so that lets you know that they did nothing on the ground. Allen Lazard had 4 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Green Bay is 3-6 and looking like they won't be in the mix. I'm keeping it a C note with you. Shout out to Lil Wayne, because I know before the season I've been saying a lot of stuff about Aaron Rodgers. And I came off as a hater. I came off as I don't know what I'm talking about. Shout out to Lil Wayne. He tweeted, "Rest in peace to the season. We should have gotten rid of 12 before the season started." Yikes. Shout out to you, Weezy. Let's see if they call you a hater, because you're a Green Bay fan. I'm not a Green Bay fan. But when I was saying it, they was like I was wrong. Now I'm going to ask you guys again. Was Devontae Adams making Aaron Rodgers look better than he really is now? Keep it a C note. You can't say nothing about them interceptions in week 9. A lot of them joints was underthrown and all type of stuff. You can't blame it on the receivers. Keep it a C note. Let me know what's going on. Next up, we had New England. They was hosting Indianapolis Colts. They came away with the 26-3 victory. They shut them down, beat the brakes off of them. Mac Jones, 147 yards, a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson, 60 yards on the ground. And Hunter Henry, he had 4 catches for 50 yards. Sam Ellinger, 103 yards and an interception. He ran for 39 yards. And Pittman Jr., 3 catches, 22 yards. The Colts, they're 3-5-1. How you feeling, Indy Nation? If you're a Colts fan, keep it a C note. The upset of the day, or at least some people will say, we had the Jets hosting Buffalo, trying to bounce back after the disappointing loss last week. And they pulled off the 20-17 victory. They definitely got busy. Zach Wilson, 154, a touchdown. Michael Carter ran for 76 yards and a touchdown. And you had Garrett Wilson, 8 catches, 92 yards. The Jets are 6-3. How you feeling about their secondary, people? Is that secondary legit? Keep it a C note. Is Sauce Gardner a top 5 cornerback already? Let me know what's going on. He definitely got the flash and the heart and all that. I don't want to be the one to jump the gun, Paul, so I won't say it, but let us know. Is Sauce Gardner top 5? Keep it a C note. As for Josh Allen, he threw for 205, 2 interceptions. He ran for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, so-so game, 5 catches, 93 yards, but for the most part, he was held in check. Buffalo's now 6-2. Again, shout out to the Jets at 6-3. Let us know about their DBs. Where do you rank them? Where do you rank their duo at? Keep it a C note. Next up, we had Minnesota. They was in Washington. This game was an interesting game. They came away with the 20-17 victory. Kirk Cousins playing against his old team. He threw for 265, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Dalvin Cook really did nothing, 47 yards on the ground. Justin Jefferson, 7 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown. Shout out to Minnesota. They're quietly under the radar. They're 7-1. Nobody really talking about them. I don't think nobody really taking them serious, but shout out to the Vikings. I see y'all. As for Washington, they could have won this game easily. Taylor Heineke, he threw for 149, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Brian Robinson Jr., 44 yards on the ground. Curtis Samuel with the 3 for 65 and the circus catch with the help of the referees. He got a touchdown. Washington is now 4-5. Next up, I just get disappointed talking about this team. And it ain't the Rams, people. I'm getting disappointed talking about them too, but I'm talking about Vegas. They was in Jacksonville taking on Trevor Lawrence and the boys. Shout out Trevor Lawrence and the boys. They came away with the 27-20 victory. Sheesh. Trevor Lawrence, 235 and a touchdown. Travis Etienne, he got busy. 109 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Christian Kirk, 8 catches, 76 yards and a touchdown. Jacksonville was 3-6. As for Derek Carr, 259, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, 67 yards on the ground. And we had a Devontae Adams sighting people. He got busy, 10 catches, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. But it just wasn't enough. Vegas is a disappointing 2-6. Darren Waller, I don't know if he played, if he didn't. But he didn't do anything. I mean, I believe he was out. But they're a mess. Hunter Renfrow has just disappeared. 100 and something catches last year, and he might not even get 40 catches this year. Good golly, Miss Molly, I'm just keeping it a C note. Josh McDaniels, it might got to be a one and done for him. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that? Should it be a one and done for? There's no way that team should be looking like that. There's no way. I ain't trying to hear it. Mike got to move on from McDaniels. I'm keeping it a C note. Next up, we had the NFC West first place team, the Seattle Seahawks. They was in Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The Seahawks came away with a 31-21 victory. Shout out to Geno Smith, 275, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Kenneth Walker III, 109 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Shout out to Kenneth Walker. He's definitely been getting busy. If you got him on fantasy football, shout out to you. Tyler Lockett had 5 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Seattle is 6-3 and sitting atop of the NFC West. Shout out to Pete Carroll and the boys. Kyler Murray, the Cardinals, disappointing. Kyler 175, 2 touchdowns. He ran for 60 yards. Rondell Moore, 8 catches, 69 yards. 3-6. Arizona's in the basement. Not by much, but they're in the basement. They'll be playing for the basement next week. You know, they got the Rams. So we'll see what's what. But after 9 weeks, the Cardinals are in the basement. Are you shocked about that? Keep it a C note. Let's go. Tampa Bay hosting the Rams. Brady trying to get back. He was under 500. This is worst looking season ever. Shout out to Brady. Came away with the 16-13 victory. The come from behind victory. Pause. Brady threw for 280 and a touchdown. He threw the ball, I believe, 58 times. Yikes. Rashad White, 27 yards on the ground. And we had a K.I. Otten sighting, people. Who? Man, Cade Otten, 5 catches, 68 yards, and the game-winning touchdown. Tampa Bay is 4-5. Let's see if they're ready to make a run. You think Brady and them still got one more run in them? Keep it a Cino. Let us know. As for the Rams, led all game, but it's the same predictable play calling, weak offensive line, horrible defensive coordinator. The list goes on. Stafford, 165 and a touchdown. Darrell Henderson, 56 yards on the ground. Cooper Kupp, 8 catches, 127, a touchdown. The Rams are now 3-5 people. And again, next week they will be fighting for the basement. All I will say is that's one. I said the Rams will lose 2 more games the rest of the season, so that's one. They play KC on the schedule too, so that may be the second loss, but we shall see. But I'm still sticking to the 2 more losses. I believe 1 more loss this season. Relax, we gotta relax, but it's a couple things that bothered me with this game. Sean McVay. Darrell Henderson broke 2 running plays back to back. I get it, he gotta take a breather. But you didn't give him the ball for the next 3 drives. Really? And then you're playing offense, you're playing conservative offense. Like, your offense can just march up and down the field if these balls come down and score on you. Like, you only play conservative when you got a lead like that. Like, if you got an offense that can score. Right now, the Rams do not have an offense that can score, so you got to keep your foot on the gas. As for Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator, once again, it is just mind-boggling, his defense. It's mind-boggling how nobody is talking about this man's job should be on the line. This guy is horrible. How you're playing soft zones. I see why Brady threw the ball 58 times. You're playing a soft zone. You're playing 15 yards back on dudes that can't run. These dudes slow as ever, and you playing 15 yards off of them. And then to me, I only would play 15 yards off of them if you got a good tackling team. The Rams cannot tackle. They cannot tackle. So for you to even implement that day, and then at the last drive, you instead of taking away the sidelines, you're trying to take the middle of the field away, and you're just giving them. Like, it's just amazing. Again, I will say it, Raheem Morris, it is time for him to get gone. The Rams need to fire him. McVay may need to give up the play calling for a couple of weeks, just for a couple of weeks. Last but not least, I asked y'all about Sauce Gardner. Now I'm going to ask y'all to keep it a C-note. After what you've been seeing so far this year, I don't want to hear no hangovers or none of that stuff. Is Jalen Ramsey still a top 5 cornerback? I mean, I know the scheme is off and everything, but he arm tackle. It's like he doesn't play as hard as every down. Pause. So, how do y'all feel about Jalen Ramsey? Is he a top 5 cornerback this year? Keep it a C-note. Let us know. Sunday Night Football. We had Kansas City. They was hosting the Titans. Shout out KC. They came away with the 20-17 victory in overtime. Patty Mahomes, 446. Touchdown, interception. He threw the ball 68 times. Yikes. He also ran for 63 yards and a touchdown. Kelsey, 10 catches, 106 yards. KC is now 6-2. Shout out KC. As for Tennessee, they fell to 5-3. Malik Willis, 80 yards. Derrick Henry, 115 on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Austin Hooper, 2 catches, 34 yards. How you feeling about the Titans? I keep it a C-note. They definitely got a mean defense. They may need Tannehill back, though. I'm just keeping it a C-note. Before we get out of here again, shout out Seattle, first place AFC West. Keep it a C-note. Will Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks win the NFC West? Yes, no. Keep it a C note, let us know. Let me ask you this, right? Tyreek Hill, shout out Tyreek Hill, set the record. Quickest 9 games to get to 1,000 yards. He's over 1,000 yards. There was always a lot of talk about Tyreek Hill. We didn't know how good he would be without Patrick Mahomes. But keep it a C note, where do you rank Tyreek Hill among wide receivers after watching him for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, pardon me? Let us know. I will say I definitely think that he surprised me, and Tyreek may be in my top 5. I don't know, but I will also say something that y'all may want to call me an Oouuber for. After watching Tyreek Hill this year and watching Davante Adams this year and how those teams went in totally different directions, I have Tyreek Hill ranked over Davante Adams. I don't know. Should you call me a Oouuber? Is it no cat? Keep it a C note. Let us know. Give me one team in the AFC that's not in the playoffs as of right now that you still believe will make the playoffs. I'm going to go to Bengals. I think they got to get mixing the ball a little bit more. Pause. Jamar Chase will be back soon, so I think the Bengals still can make the playoffs. What's your thoughts, though? One AFC team that is not in the playoffs right now, but you still believe they will make the playoffs. Let's go NFC. Give me one NFC team that's not in the playoffs right now, but you still believe they will make the playoffs. You know where I'm going. LA Rams. I'm saying don't panic. We just need some changes. New defensive coordinator. I mean, it's the first time for everything. I don't think I've ever seen McVay fire anybody. So it's the first time for everything, and I think he has to get rid of the coordinator. But what's your thoughts, people? One NFC team that you still think can make the playoffs. Let me ask you this. Fantasy football, if you play fantasy football, shout out to you. Who's been a bigger fantasy disappointment for you this year? Jonathan Taylor, who a lot of people picked number 1? Or was it Darren Waller, who a lot of people jumped up to get early? Who's the bigger fantasy football disappointment? Keep it a C note. Just because I had the number 1 pick, I'm going Jonathan Taylor. At least Waller been hurt. Taylor plays and it's like he's not playing. He looks horrible. I'm just keeping it a C note. Before we get out of here, I just want to keep it a C note. I don't watch college football. I've never been huge on college football because to me, most of the quarterbacks can never throw. I don't want to watch a game where the quarterback is running every other play. And I believe that the NFL is starting to go to more of a college football feel, especially with the RPO. I dislike the RPO. I think it's horrible for football. I think the only quarterbacks that run RPO in the league right now are the guys that can't really throw like that or the guys that's really athletic. You know what I mean? I think Brady, not just they can't throw like that. I think a team like Brady and them, they run RPO because those wide receivers can't get open like they should get open. So you got to do all the distraction stuff. You run RPO with somebody like Justin Fields because he doesn't throw the ball as good as he runs the ball. And then you run RPO with somebody like Josh Allen just because he can do everything, you know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on it. I think it's ruining football. I definitely dislike it. But what's your thoughts on RPO football in the NFL? Do you agree with me? Should you call me an Uber? Keep it a C note. Monday Night Football, we got Baltimore at New Orleans. Who you got? I'm taking Baltimore for the win. That's just my thoughts. What do I know? My Rams are damn near in the basement. We got a lot going on. Hey, listen, keep it a C note with y'all. Shout out to Vito. I've been grinding Vito up. He going to have to put on the Eagles jersey. But as of right now, I may have to put on a 49ers jersey. So I'm going to ask the people out there, Sheed, all my 49ers fans, everybody, if I got to put on a Niners jersey, who should I rock? Keep it a C note. Disclaimer, I am not wearing a Deebo Samuels jersey. I'm just keeping it a C note. But listen, people, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm about to diddy bop out of here. I got to make some calls to McVay. I got to talk to Les Snead. We got to come to an understanding. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, if this is your first time tuning in, please hit the sub button. Everybody that watched the video, please make sure you hit the like button. Leave a comment. Let us know what's going on. Make sure you hit the notification button so you can be notified when we drop. And we're talking about starting to go live on YouTube. So please stay tuned, people. As always, I am your boy Brown. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell everybody. Keep it a C note. I holla at y'all.
Shit. This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, da, da.